Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about the amazing new changes to the Tau Codex. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about the amazing new changes to the Tau in the upcoming Codex. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so anybody that's playing Warhammer 40k for any amount of time, especially coming from 9th into 10th, knows that one of the biggest changes that they made was getting rid of like the actual points affiliated with like upgrades inside of a squad. And this was particularly an issue with stuff like battlesuits, where if you were going to take flamers, there used to be one cost associated with them, and if you were going to take something like plasma, which is objectively better, they would cost more points. So by getting rid of like the individual upgrade costs, it simplified the game and army building. Unfortunately, it made it so that people would always or almost always take the most optimized choice, because if you're going to be paying the points anyway, you might as well get the good stuff. So that also meant that you saw a lot less diversity within like army builds, and the optimized unit would almost always get picked. And this has been probably one of the biggest complaints that people have had about 10th edition. And it looks like with the upcoming codex, or should I say it's confirmed, that they're actually like rolling this back in an interesting way. So let's take a look. Fly close and unleash hell with the Tau Empire detachment full of battlesuits. The Tau Empire battlesuit technology is at the forefront of the military conquest, from prowling stealth battlesuits to the towering Riptide. These mighty combat armors allow Firecast pilots to grapple with the worst horrors of the galaxy can muster. Even if you're not up to ringing the Kroot dinner bell, a new detachment in Codex Tau Empire gives you battlesuits even more ways to leap into action. If you're a fan of filling the battlefield with high-tech combat walkers like a certain red renegade, the Retaliation cadre is just what the Ethereals ordered. Its detachment rule exemplifies the daring of these bonded heroes, delivering a high-stakes, close-range playstyle with battlesuits to descend upon enemy units and blast them to pieces. Have you ever wished your burst cannons could hit strength 6 or even AP -1 to really mow down infantry? Consider those wishes answered, as battlesuit guns get extra strength and armor penetration depending on how close your pilots dare to advance. Alright, so here is from one of the new detachments. This one is obviously for the suits like they were describing, and this is called Bonded Heroes. Each time a Tau Empire battlesuit model from your army makes a ranged attack that targets a unit within 12 inches, improve the strength characteristic of the attack by 1. If that attack targets a unit within 6 inches, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the attack by 1 as well. So pretty good, definitely going to hit harder up close, and then the goal is to, be able to pick up that unit. The Tau Empire isn't reckless or wasteful though. They make use of canny stratagems to keep their battlesuits out of harm's way. The shortened blade allows close-range units to stay safely in orbit before dropping down to near point-blank range. Perfect for eliminating enemy tanks with fusion blaster fusillade that employ the Torchstar Gambit to get away safely once their shooting has resolved. So the shortened blade, it's 2 command points for this, and it's a strategic ploy. And you can do this during your movement phase. 1 Tau Empire battlesuit unit from your army that is arriving using the Deep Strike ability this phase. The unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches horizontally away from all enemy models. Restrictions. A unit targeted with this stratagem is not eligible to declare a charge in the same turn. So it is 2 command points, but this is extremely powerful. One of the most powerful and coolest abilities I think in this new edition is essentially being able to arrive within that 9-inch deep strike range. Normally everything is blocked out from 9 inches, but we've seen with like Genestealer Cult, with Space Marine Inceptors, and then now with this stratagem that you'll be able to arrive within that 9 inches as long as you stay 3 inches away. And that's also really cool because it makes things like infiltrators or mystics that have the ability to like block out all deep strike in a bubble even more powerful. So you normally like spread out and screen out 9-inch bubbles to make sure that people can't drop in your back lines. And obviously now that's just not going to be possible, because for 2 command points, your opponent can drop outside 3, but within that 9. So very, very cool. This is a very, very powerful stratagem right here. You'll be able to use those suits now to assassinate key characters, to drop in close to vehicles and take advantage of the extra strength, AP, and like fusion range. So this is really cool. I'm definitely a massive fan of this. This is going to make the suit detachment extremely powerful. Alright, and then we have the Torchstar Gambit. So Retaliation Cadre, Strategic Ploy, Stratagem, 1 command point. When your shooting phase, 1 Tau Empire battlesuit unit from your army that can fly, whose attacks have been resolved this phase. If your unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move. If it does, your unit cannot declare a charge this turn. So you're going to do this after you've already shot, and then you can make a normal move. So again, very powerful. As a matter of fact, this was like one of the strongest things that Eldar had, and they recently kind of got nerfed. So now seeing them just drop this again for Tau, I mean, you just know this is going to be like absolutely amazing and extremely powerful. And one thing that's really good about this is you could basically pop out behind a wall, line up a shot, take that shot, and then use your normal move to get back out of line of sight. So essentially you're engaging the enemy and they're not able to engage you back. And all you have to give up for that is one command point and the ability to charge, which you probably weren't going to do anyway. So it does look like Tau and battlesuits are going to be very, very powerful, as honestly, those two stratagems are both just absolutely amazing. So very cool, very impressed. But it actually just gets better after that. Since we're on the topic, let's talk about Crisis battlesuits. One of the coolest things about the current edition of Warhammer 40,000 is that every unit gets its own special ability. Whilst this is great for most, it hits a snag when massively flexible models need an ability that suits every possible loadout. After all, a bonus that's ideal for close-range flamers might not be nearly as effective for long-range missile pods. Imperial strategists have addressed this issue by spreading flexible tanks like the Le Mans Russ or Gladiator across different datasheets, and the Tau are nothing if not quick learners. The new Codex Tau Empire splits Crisis battlesuits into 3 distinct datasheets based around classic configurations, and veteran Tau commanders might recognize a few names from the lore of yore. Alright, so we see Fire Knife, Sunforge, and Star Scythe. And if you've been playing for any amount of time, basically a lot of like these custom kind of loadouts for the Tau battlesuits had these names in previous editions, and now we see they're going to come back as individual datasheets with these weapon and equipment configurations, and then also special abilities affiliated with them. Very, very cool. It's also going to now turn what was one datasheet that everyone was taking in an optimized loadout because the points were all the same into the ability to essentially have Games Workshop balance those various datasheets, and then also the ability to now take potentially 9, like 3 of each. So very, very cool. The Sunforge configuration melts down heavy targets with twin fusion blasters. Fire Knife battlesuits mix in match plasma rifles and missile pods to crack elite troops, and Starsight teams choose from a buffet of burst cannons and flamers to wipe out massed hordes. They're all still Crisis battlesuits, but now they get custom abilities that really help out their chosen roles. Take their Crisis Sunforge battlesuits for instance. Their Sunforge ability helps to mitigate the low rate of fire on their fusion blasters by giving them powerful rerolls against their ideal targets. With the Retaliation Cadre Detachment rule in play, you're firing Strength 10 shots at AP-5, each dealing a d6 plus 2 damage, with a reroll on both wound rolls and damage. So very cool. Obviously a combination of multiple rules there, but then if we use that stratagem from earlier, you're now able to drop within 9 inches, but 3 inches out. So presumably you're getting that extra bonus to damage. So just very, very strong abilities. Sunforge. Each time a ranged attack made by this model in this unit is allocated to a monster or vehicle unit, you can reroll the wound roll and you can reroll the damage roll. So obviously you're going to be shooting all these meltas at monsters and vehicles. You're going to be dropping them in close theoretically, or moving them in close, and then you're going to be blasting them with extremely powerful high damage shots. So very, very cool. Definitely a fan of this. And now Games Workshop can point those suits accordingly. These new distinctions have another benefit for battlesuit aficionados. No army can contain the same datasheet more than 3 times. Obviously with the exception of Battleline, but each of these configurations is a different datasheet. That means you can squeeze up to 9 Crisis teams into your roster, ready to retaliate as preemptively as a greater good demands. Don't worry if your own Crisis suits have different armaments, the current datasheet will be added to Legends, so you can keep using your more diverse hardpoint combinations if you wish. So that is pretty cool. Obviously Legends not really like acceptable in competitive play, but Games Workshop essentially just creating that Legends datasheet so that you can still use your old configurations without just snapping off all their weapons is pretty neat. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. Commanders can join all 3 of these new units and retain their own flexible weapon options, so you can outfit them according to their chosen bodyguard. Their own abilities focus on supporting the entire unit, with the Enforcer Commander lowering the armor penetration of incoming fire, while the Cold Star Commander turbo boosts its allies so they can keep up with its incredible speed. So previously the commanders kind of did their own thing. Now obviously being able to attach them to the Crisis suits with the leader ability and then buffing those Crisis suits, going to be really cool. I really, really like how this is laid out. I like the changes they've made. And so far from what I've seen, all of a sudden Tau and battlesuits and various different like weapon equipment datasheet options are going to become much more viable. So the Enforcer Commander, while this model is leading a unit, each time a ranged attack targets that unit, worsen the AP by 1. So very cool. Obviously going to decrease the effectiveness of oncoming firepower. Basically like a built-in armor of contempt, which is one of my favorite Space Marine stratagems. And then Cold Star Commander, while this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a move characteristic of 12, and ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the assault ability. So this is a pretty nice boost to their actual movement. No more like jetting your Cold Star Commander across the battlefield, like 20 plus inches in a single turn, but now he's attached to an entire unit, and they're just overall going to be faster. And then again, if we pair this with the ability to move after shooting for 1 command point, you can pop out, get a really nice shot on something, and then move 12 inches back, guaranteed behind cover and out of line of sight. And also the assault ability means you're going to be able to advance an extra d6 inches and still shoot your weapons or do actions. Just very, very nice abilities. These look awesome. More Tau Empire rules are on the way, as the awesome Kroot hunting pack, which is your first chance to get your hands on Codex Tau Empire, goes up for pre-order this Saturday. And then Games Workshop makes a note at the bottom about how they'll more accurately be able to reflect the points and equipment combinations for the various layouts. So very, very cool. Definitely a massive fan of these changes. So we don't know what the army rule is going to be exactly at this point in time, but we know the detachment rule is pretty cool for like the suit detachment. Not sure if Farsight is going to be tied specifically to this detachment. I would imagine he probably is, and then also you won't be able to take ethereals, but who knows what kind of changes we're going to see. Definitely a massive fan of this. And, you know, we looked at this for basically like the various crisis suits, but also this improves the viability of stuff like the Ghost Keel, which was already really good, but like the Riptide was definitely lacking in the AP department. So while it's not really viable to get within 6 inches, we know that Games Workshop is recognizing some of the issues and fixing them. So hopefully we're going to see that as some like changes as well. Maybe some upgrades to the weapons instead of just decreasing the points cost on stuff. So very cool, very happy with the rules so far. Let me know what you're most excited about. Let me know how you like the rules, how you think this is going to reflect the individual like crisis data sheets having various points. Also opens up some questions about a bunch of new Kroot data sheets showing up, and then they're basically being the same amount of data sheets. And we know now crisis is split into 3 various data sheets as well. So very, very likely that some units from the Tau Empire range are gone, or should I say gone to Legends. So interested to see how that plays out. So it makes me think about some of like the metal kits that didn't get upgraded, things like Vespids or Tau sniper teams. I wonder if some of those things are going to be going away or getting rolled into like some of the other data sheets. So we should start finding out pretty soon. Very excited to see the new rules, the new points, and just how Tau function, the new detachments, army rule, the Kroot. Just a lot of excitement, especially for me behind all this. I am definitely going to be picking up that Kroot Battle Force, but mostly I'm after that new Codex and cards. So let me know what you guys think down below. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And the fact that Games Workshop is addressing some of the concerns people have had in the community speaks very highly of what's to come. And I'm out of here.